Welcome back to Swans Cast on what is a brilliant week to be a Swans fan. The best team in South Wales, South Wales being black and white. How are you all feeling, lads?
Cardiff Paterson, everywhere they go.
If that's not on TikTok by the end of the week, then
absolutely buzzing. What can you say in there? What can you say?
Well, I'll introduce you all first, and then you can say whatever you want. So, obviously, just speaking there, we've got Jordan back with us. He obviously was there for the pre-match sort of video podcast that we did before the derby. So, because we won, he wanted to come back and talk about the actual match. You did say
lost.
You did say, to be fair, like if we lost, then we wouldn't see you for a couple of months. So it was obviously not long in between your appearances. And then Lee's joining us once again. So welcome back, Lee.
Hello, I am still hungover. I was rough on Monday morning. Oh my god, I'm still recovering.
Hopefully we get some response out of Lee. I was a bit rough as well, but not that bad. I think I had some early... Actually, I'll speak about it in a minute because we'll talk about what happened. But Alid is the last person that's joining us as well, so welcome, Alid.
Hello.
You two were at the game, weren't you, Lee and Alid?
Yeah.
Me and Joe were just getting pissed while we were watching it in a pub somewhere. But what I was going to say is...
Get the atmosphere.
What I was going to say is when I was watching the game, obviously we were out since like 10 o'clock in the morning because it was an early kick-off, like 12 o'clock. I think we left town. What time did we leave? Like 6:30, 7? Me and Chris went. So I had food, didn't I, in Griffin. And then he decides, because he didn't order any food, that he wants to get food on the way home. Wants me to go and sit with him to have food, which is fine. I ended up having... He was adamant that he would buy me something to eat.
That's romantic.
So he bought me a wrap in Arwa, but I basically had... what I'm trying to say is I basically had food twice in the evening, and I think that helped me not feel so rough the next day, which I was quite grateful for in the end.
I think that's a tactic that I need to do. Rather than eat once, eat twice.
Yeah, and I had 3 pints of water when I got home, which all throughout the night, because I didn't really sleep great, to be honest. Don't know. I mean, not sure why. I think it must have been still the adrenaline still going there. But woke up better than I thought I was going to, so it was a positive outcome. I don't know. How was your match day experience then? Start with you then, Lee. You say you're still hungover, so.
Oh, class, yeah. Well, I was breakfast and a beer about 8 o'clock in the morning, and then just a few more beers. Walked down.
Where do you have breakfast?
Oh, only in one of the boys' house. And then we walked down then, like Neath Road, and we were in the Coopers for a bit. There was a good atmosphere there because all the Swans fans were waiting for the Cardiff buses to come off the dual carriageway with flares and stuff. But it just all added to it. It was all quite civil. It was all good. So that was a good start. And then got in the stadium early because of all the thing with the COVID pass, and they barely checked it. They only glanced at it, and I was in. We were in about.
Did they not just scan
10.
it or nothing then?
No. They just looked at it on my phone.
Screenshotted and sent to me, and I would have.
I don't know if other people had them checked, more thoroughly than mine. But literally, I just had a glance, and I was in the 10:30.
Fair
Job
enough.
done.
While we're speaking about COVID passes, we actually featured in a BBC article on the matter. So if you want to check that out, it was posted on the morning of the game Sunday. They just asked us our opinion on the COVID passes and what fans make of it. So.
Yeah,
that was nice. They did call us out in there with the podcast name as well. You asked me the other day, but they did chuck that in, so that was good. Yeah,
get the name out.
Yeah.
No, and then we'll talk about the game in a bit, obviously. But then I made a deal that if we won, I would come and meet you in town, which I did. We got a few cans on the way over, walked into town, and then that was it. Then I was I can't do it anymore. Struggling with hangovers. But yeah, what a day.
I mean, Taylor's not here, the guy that you were with, but at least you weren't sleeping at the table.
Oh, he goes hard, in all fairness to him.
No, good. He was a good laugh. Anyway, Alid, what about your day? How was your day?
Oh, well, I woke up early, didn't do any of the drinking, and then hobbled down to the stadium, because my foot is absolutely mangled, and then enjoyed the game and went back home.
So maybe we'll have at least one person that was sober enough to remember all the details of the match, talking about what happened.
Hopefully.
What were you then, George?
I'm definitely not that sober person. But no, very early brekkie. Went into Spoons then, just for a couple of cheap pints, get the day started. straight in the whole gas then for the game. To be fair, whole gas like for the big game is usually pretty good.
Yeah, well, they got the big screen, didn't they, down the back?
They got the massive projector at the back anyway. But there's like, obviously you've been the whole gas. I'm sure there's there's screens everywhere, do you know.
Yeah.
And it didn't disappoint. But like I was speaking to a couple of people there, like who were just wearing like their Swans tops, and we were talking about the game. None of us were confident, so you can imagine not confident, but not confident in terms of like how well it went. So at the end of the game, the atmosphere in there was absolutely amazing, and then it was a greasy kebab at the end. So I was very happy.
I've been in there for a game before, and the atmosphere is always good in Hogarth. Maybe I should have gone there myself. I went to Griffin. It was alright. It was decent actually, to be fair. But we were going to go to Wetherspoons to get a cheap pint if we couldn't get a table, because we thought it was going to be rammed, and we couldn't book any tables online. So we were like, okay, let's just go there and see if we can get one, and then we'll just keep it. But
yeah,
probably wouldn't have been a problem really if we had come an hour before. We went extra early and then stayed there rather than going to Spoons before. But there we are. Just missed you. Maybe we could have watched it together, but it doesn't matter.
Yeah, I tell you what, it's well overdue now, isn't it? It's well overdue that pint. So we'll sort it.
Yeah. So before we start talking about the actual game, so we are, I think, 4 people now. We were a couple more than that the other day, but we're 4 people away from 400 subscribers. So please hit that subscribe button if you are watching. And while you're at it, don't forget to click the like button. It helps more people see the podcast, and especially on an episode like this where we're going to revel in the fact that we smashed Cardiff, which I'm sure everyone will love to hear. We really appreciate it. So while you're there as well, why don't you have a look in the comments right now and let us know what you thought of the game. What was your matchday experience like, the atmosphere, what was your favourite moment from the game? So we're obviously going to discuss all of that now. So let us know in the comments below what you thought and what your opinions were. Okay, so where do we start then? Let's just, I guess the beginning. I thought maybe a little bit edgy at the start. I say edgy. We knew what was going to happen. We knew we were going to try and keep the ball, and we knew Cardiff were not going to try and keep the ball, essentially, and just counter-attack, play it up to Kiefer Moore and be a little bit more direct. Which I think they did quite well, to be fair. In the first 10-15 minutes, they did that really well, and I think Lee, you were saying yourself, you were a bit worried at the start.
Yeah, it was a bit worried. I got to laugh a minute, just to change the subject. Nottingham Forest, 91st minute penalty. Cooper using his contacts again. Just getting that in there before we start. I was nervous before the start, and I think first 15 minutes, I think Cardiff were probably the better side, and Forest had just scored again 2-1, 2 in the 91st and 92nd minute. But yeah, I think Cardiff probably started better. They sort of I don't know, they seemed to be a lot more physical in that first 15 minutes. I thought, we might struggle here, and I think Giles had that really early chance. I
Giles it was, yeah.
Yeah, I think if that goes in, it's like a different game. Obviously, I think it was a bit of a cliche, but I said to everybody the first goal was massive. With the way that both teams play, if Cardiff go up early, then they're gonna sit on it all day. And
it would have been reminiscent of Flint 1-0 last time, wouldn't it? So.
Yeah, exactly. And then if we score the first goal, then obviously what happened. Then they've got to come out, and then we just picked them apart. Then. Yeah,
I think you're right. I think we weren't awful, but it was the same as what a problem tends to be. 1 or 2 misplaced passes, or just getting caught out in the middle of the park, and then it's like 1 ball, 2 ball, bang, someone's in. And that's kind of how people play against us, and that's where they're getting success, and obviously it's on us to sort that out. It was Giles that was 1-on-1 basically with Hamer, and it was a good save by Hamer, though I think Giles should have done better. With that chance, it should have been 1-0. Let's be honest. I think Kiefer Moore had a chance as well, didn't he? Not so long after.
Yeah, I think so.
I think so. When was the our penalty shout? Though, was it before Giles'
so
chance?
I'll discuss that in a second. Obviously, in terms of the balance of the game, I think.
Yeah.
Open play. They had them 2 chances, and we didn't really have anything in terms of open play chances for. Probably until just before we scored. But before we go there, we'll talk about the penalty. So, George, I don't know. I know what Lee's opinions of it are, because I was talking to him on the day. 3rd minute, I believe.
Really early on.
It
Wasn't
was Ethan Led. He's going into the box, doing a bit of trickery. He goes to the byline. I think it was Brown, the defender for Cardiff, who he was either Brown or Nelson. But I think
Nelson. I think.
Okay, yeah, it was one of those two. But from where the ref's standing, I think there's two players in the way, and it basically goes through Led's leg to get to the ball, and the ball goes then in the direction that it would have been if it was a tackle. So I think the ref can't see it, but there's no excuse for me for the linesman from where he's standing to not see that was a clear penalty. And when you look at the replays, it was clear as day that it was a penalty. I think in real time there was a bit like, oh, maybe not, so you can give the benefit of the doubt. And in the 3rd minute of a derby, it's a big call. But what did you make of the incident?
Do you know what, right? I think the only thing when it comes to the referees, if that was like on the hour mark and it's 0-0, I reckon he gives it. But because it's so early on and teams are like trying to suss each other out, I don't think the ref knew what to do, because he did pause for a second.
Yeah, he was thinking about it.
And he did look at his linesman. But when you watch a replay over and over again, like I'll be honest with you, at first, when I just saw it live, I thought, like, oh, do you know what? That's a fair challenge. Like, that's a good tackle. And the more and more you see it, you're just like, hang on a minute, that's a clear penalty all day long. And if you add something like VAR, then we well, hopefully whoever would score it, we'd go 1-0 up early on, and it's a penalty.
I actually don't know who takes our penalties now.
We haven't had one this season, have we?
We haven't.
But it was AU or Low before, wasn't it? So they both.
I'd assume would it be maybe Grimes or Piroe now?
Maybe Grimes used to take
maybe
them
Paterson,
Potter, didn't he?
Or Grimes is a shout, to be fair.
Yeah.
I'd say probably Grimes, Paterson, or Piroe.
Yeah.
Anyway,
that's another point. So definitely penalty for Glenn Jordan.
All day.
Yeah, that's a great shout though. I didn't think of that because it's so early on in the derby. It's like a massive decision to make so early on, isn't it? And like you said, he did. They were quite hesitant, weren't they? Both of them, the ref and the linesman.
Yeah. Well, Alex,
I gotta laugh that it was in the WhatsApp group. You probably weren't checking your phone though, but that was my point. Is that it was so early on in a derby game, the ref's never going to call that, even if it's clear as day, just because I don't know.
But I said to you, didn't I? Like, it shouldn't matter what time it is. If it's a foul, it's a foul.
I absolutely agree with that, but I just think, it's just the way the refs work, isn't it? They're just...
I think that's what it is.
They do stuff like that. They just make decisions like that, and it has an effect on the game in a way, but thankfully it didn't for us.
Yeah, I mean, if we had lost this or not won this game and or drawn or something, we would have been talking about this incident a lot more, I think. Yeah. Ultimately, it doesn't matter. We won the game comfortably. But I think we'll talk about it later when we've discussed more of the match, but I really wasn't impressed with the refereeing quality on display.
No, definitely not. But, it's the same thing nearly every week now, though, isn't it? With like championship referees, there's never like a consistent row of games where you can look at the referee and say, do you know what, he done well today, he got everything spot on, or you can accept, like, maybe, well, I don't know whether if you can accept it, like, for professional referees. I understand, like, if you haven't got, like, the Premier League benefits of VAR to help you out at times, and sometimes you do have to make, like, a really quick decision, but these are, like, supposedly championship standard referees, and I can't remember the last time we had a consistent run of good referees.
So we'll talk about it now. We already started. The referee was James Linnington, and I believe, if I am correct me if I'm wrong, but it's what I saw. It's the same ref that in the past there was a match Swansea against Scunthorpe, I want to say, and he sent off 3 Swansea players in that match.
God.
Bit of history there. And the reason, I don't know if you remember it, Lee, you probably would have the best memory, if anything. But the reason, from what I was reading, of these red cards in that game was a case of Scunthorpe being very physical. Stuff wasn't getting blown up. The ref was letting it go. So then the Swans players got very frustrated and started giving it back, essentially. Ultimately ended up getting 3 red cards. So, sounds quite similar to what happened in this game. I thought, right at the start of the match, after the penalty incident, which he didn't give, it seemed like he was blown up for everything for about 5-10 minutes. Like everything, he was blown up for the first 5-10 minutes, both ways. And I was like, okay, at least it's consistent. But then all of a sudden, Cardiff started getting a bit physical, and he was just letting things go. Just like one after the other, he was letting things go. One of them that stood out for me, I think it was Flint, on maybe Bidwell, on the left, where he literally just grabs both of his shoulders, throws him on the floor, and the ref's just there like, yeah, play on. Nothing in it, nothing.
Yeah.
It was the deliberate handball on the floor by one of the Cardiff midfielders. Pack. Didn't book him for that. And then he blew for a foul because it was deliberate handball. Like, he's on the floor and he literally grabs the ball. That's a yellow card all day. And then the play stopped. And then the ball comes out, I think it was to maybe Rouse or maybe Bakuna, one of the other midfielders at the time. And he just carries on running with the ball and then kicks it away. Like, after he's already blown for deliberate handball. A little bit of shithousery, like, but at least one of them should have been a yellow there because that was just silly. I think they started having a mini bust up then until someone broke it up because obviously the players are like, what are you doing? Like, a bit frustrated. But there was quite a few incidents. They're the ones that are standing out to me. I don't know if you can remember any of that. I was just thinking, how were you not blowing up?
Nelson, for me, was an absolute asshat all game. Just... I don't know how he didn't get yellow carded at all. Yeah,
I think he had a couple on lead, didn't he? Yeah, towards the end. Vokes came on, and pointless sub if you ask me. All he came on to do was get booked, it looked like. Which, I mean, in the derby, maybe you want that, but when you're 3-0 down, I mean, that's probably why he didn't start the game, because he didn't really do anything other than he snapped someone, didn't he? Who'd got past him, and he just lunged in. I think it might have been Led again.
Yeah, Led was just a nuisance all game, wasn't he?
Yeah,
it's class.
I just found it quite poor, the quality of reffing, and the reason I bring it up, I think, because we mentioned the penalty incident, and it could have so easily gone down the direction that the ref had lost the game. They were being allowed to be physical, which, you know, is their game plan, but getting away with a little bit too much, and we could have easily got rattled because of that, and not allowed to play our fluid game.
Just playing devil's advocate, because I do agree with you. I just think if that's the way he's going to ref the game, obviously he's got previous, then I think that they were obviously the better side in the first 15 minutes because of that, because I don't think we reacted to it very well. But I think eventually we did, because we had a few then, like Flynn Downs, speak about how good he was. I thought he was class. But then he started again in the mixer then and throwing his weight around, and then that seemed to sort of turn the tide then, because he started to settle into the game and start putting some challenges in ourselves. I think we were just a bit shocked in our first 15 minutes by the way the ref was playing the game. But then I think we just adjusted to it quite well then.
I think you're right. I think it's like, I think for Downs as well, he was on the receiving end of some manhandling of the first 20 minutes or so, where the players would literally grab, like, he'd be running with the ball back to goal or something in the middle of the pitch, and they'd just be grabbing him, pulling him back, pulling his shirt, grabbing him, and he's just there looking at the ref like, are you going to blow? Like, are you going to blow? And obviously the couple of times the ref didn't. And I think you probably didn't see it in the stadium or on the TV. You could see him zooming in on him, and he's doing one of them little smirks, like, what do I need to do to get a foul? And I think all of a sudden then he was like, do you know what? I'll just give some of it back then, if that's the case.
That's probably the worst thing you could do to a player like Downs as well, because not only is he like technically quality, he's got a bit of bite in him as well. So if you give him a few niggles, you can expect one or two back. Yeah. With Downs.
Didn't he nail someone, like, as the final whistle went?
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
Someone was sliding in as the final whistle went, and you messaged me saying he should have got booked or something near the full time.
I thought Bennett. I swear Bennett slid at the end.
I
thought it was Bennett.
Yeah, but correct. Like, just bringing it back to us. I know the ref probably wasn't great, but credit to us for bringing that back. And Downs then started to get. It almost looked like he was man marking Kiefer Moore. It didn't look like we had a central centre back. It looked like Downs just was stuck on Kiefer Moore all game. And I think after the first 3 or 4 sort of coming together between them, after the first 15 minutes, I think Downs had him in his pocket all game.
Yeah.
I think that basically that stopped their game plan. Then even with the ref letting it be a physical game, that was that was it. As soon as he nullified that threat, it was game over.
Kiefer Moore looked very isolated up top, didn't he? And it looked like his head gone.
Oh yeah, his head was gone.
Yeah. I mean, Cardiff's game plan is, I mean,
like a through ball.
we all take the mick of hoofball, don't we? But how many times do we see in a derby hoof the ball and hope for the best? It lands to Kiefer Moore. You take Kiefer Moore out the game, they didn't really look like they had anything else going for them.
It's just corners.
And that's I got to be honest, that's me being very, very polite in the way they played.
Other than that trials chance, it was literally just set pieces.
Yeah. I mean, they had a spell right at the end of the half, didn't they?
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, Giles should have buried that. I mean,
that.
Yeah. Apart from that, I can't think of a lot. Oh, and that Nelson chance after half time. But other than that, they didn't really do a lot. Didn't do a lot.
Yeah. Okay, let's move on to talk about a little bit more about what we did. So, I said we didn't really look like scoring from open play until the goal came. I think that's a fair comment, but it was weird. We kind of we had one attack, put a little bit of pressure on, and it all of a sudden felt like, right, we're in behind you, we got the upper hand, we need to make this count, this moment of pressure. The cross comes in from the left, and Piroe nearly scores. I think it was a good save for the keeper in the end.
It was.
But it comes back out. Cardiff don't really clear their lines well. Comes back out to midfield, and we come straight back at them after they haven't really managed to restructure themselves, and the midfield's not back in the right place. And we took full advantage of it because someone plays the ball, I don't know if it was Downs or Grimes, who plays the ball into Paterson, who's kind of sitting in a pocket behind Piroe, who's pushed further. Manning played it to him, was it? And he just turns, runs into a little bit of space, and just unleashes. It kind of looked like he finessed it, but not to the from out to in to the inside post, but to the other side. The way that he hits the ball, with the sort of inside of his shoe, and it's the post. It's the other post, and nestles in the back of the net. When we were watching on the telly, we saw it at the post, and we were like, yeah, yeah, and then see it at the other post, and it's like, oh my god, it's actually gone in. What a strike. But we couldn't make it out at first, but hell of a shot in the end. I saw his mother was going viral because of a tweet that she posted saying oh, what a goal, son, or something, which was quite funny. But yeah, very good goal. And I guess the question is, was the goal better or was the celebration better?
Celebration for me all day.
Yeah.
He's only been here 4 months, 3-4 months. To do that in your first South Wales derby, and the thing that made it more sweet, it's not as if it happened the other end, it's happening the away end. So go round the back of the goal, little swim away celebration. It was perfect. Whenever the goal was stunning, anything that goes in off the post just looks 10 times nicer, and the celebration for me tops it. Which you had to pull something special out to obviously beat that goal, and fair play to me, done it. So, cult hero, but for me, never have to buy a pint again in Swansea.
Yeah, indeed.
We haven't really seen it for a while, have we? I can't think, apart from Darren Pratley doing it when he scored in the derby.
Shelby did it, didn't he, when we lost?
Yeah, I can't really remember anybody celebrating like that before in the derby, though. Apart from Pratley.
Shelby got in trouble when he did it.
Oh,
he got reprimanded.
Oh, we got to touch on this though.
And reminded of his responsibilities.
Oh, come on! And I just Russell Martin probably get a bit of stick because he did it at the end as well. Come on!
It's been quite. I feel like they're not in the Premier League, so they probably don't care.
Oh yeah, but does it actually matter? It's a laugh.
Bit of banter, isn't it? Well, if that's
I wouldn't be upset.
If that's
I wouldn't be upset if Cardiff won. I wouldn't be upset if Cardiff won, and then the players doing the Ayatollah. I wouldn't be like, oh my god, it's offensive. You can't do that. It's just part of the derby, we both got a symbol as well.
What I don't understand is they all say it's not true, but then they get offended by it.
Yeah,
so it can't be both, isn't it? If it's not true, then why do you care? It's not offensive if it's not true, is it?
Exactly.
I mean, I know the story's well exaggerated, but yeah, it's still funny.
It's just for them. That was a proper heat in the moment thing, I think, for them, because when you win a derby 1-0 or you just scrape a 1-0, it doesn't hurt as bad as getting absolutely embarrassed 3-0. So for them, it was like clinging on to anything really, wasn't it? Like, so all of a sudden, swim away celebration is offensive, and you can't do it. And correct me if I'm wrong, but I haven't seen anything before when we've beaten Cardiff and it's like been just by a 1-0, and then the swim away celebration comes out, or even like a draw when Pratley done it, and then obviously following season 1 again Pratley done it. It's like, well, you didn't complain then. Are you just complaining now because you just got completely embarrassed by your rivals and you're like clinging to anything?
Maybe social media being a bigger thing as well now, innit? So they can kick up a fast line. And...
Yeah, but it's like when Mitrovic did the Ayatollah though to the Swans fans. I quite laughed at that. I thought it was quite funny. Well, they all loved that. I just think it's part of it. It just makes the derby even better.
It's just banter, isn't it? Anyway. Banter's in football.
I laughed at that, and I laughed at when Paterson did it. I just think it was a good laugh.
Yeah.
Also, I'm not sure that Paterson did actually do the swim away. I think he went like that to the fans.
No, he did do it. He did the
swim
away, mate. He definitely did the swim away.
Can we talk about Russell Martin's first attempt when he tried to do it? It was kind of like one of these going on. I don't quite know what he was trying to do. I think he tried to do it and he just ended up going like this. And then I think someone told him, because he went back then to the stand to do that after the game. Because at first, if you watch it back, he's clapping and he just kind of goes like this. I don't really think he knew what it was.
To be fair, you said about... Sorry, I was going to say, you said about Patterson not being year-long. He did come from Bristol, so he probably knows all the history.
Yeah,
that is true. Yeah, that is true. Bristol and Cardiff obviously got like a little bit of a rivalry, and we to a certain extent as well do. But
yeah, what was you going to say?
Someone needs to find that video of Martin like doing what Lee said. But
I'll try and find it later.
We'll just get Martin's face and put it on top of Lee doing it.
I still got the game. I still got the game recorded, so I'll take a picture of it. Well, how would you even describe that? What was that?
Do you know when it was? Was it after the game?
It's after the game. It is. It's when he first goes over to the fans to clap. He's clapping, and then I think he goes to do it, and maybe he pulls out. It's just a bit of a, I don't know.
Sky didn't show it because they went straight to the main event or whatever, so we had no post match. It was literally whistle was blown, and then they were down West Ham, was it? West Ham.
Yeah. I'll find it.
Yeah. I was going to say the extra highlights, the extended highlights on YouTube doesn't show the after game celebrations by the players.
Yeah, I'm not surprised.
So
they probably wouldn't put that in anyway because they probably all be kicking off in the comments then. But anyway, moving on. So that was a good first goal. I think we saw the first. Do you know what? Actually, I was surprised. So we went 1-0 up. The exact time was in the 29th minute. So 15 minutes left of the half, and I just thought, okay, so obviously now we've gone ahead, so Cardiff got to change their game plan. They can't just sit back like they have been catching us that way. They've got to come out a bit more. If anything, they came out even less, and they had less of the ball, and like just didn't even try even less for the rest of the first half. Yeah, I was shocked. I thought like they're going to have to try and give it something now, but they were worse after they went. I understand sometimes it knocks the confidence in that, but it's a derby match. You haven't won for 6 games in a row, or whatever it was, 5 games, and you're just losing to your biggest rivals. You know, you think they got to come and try and get something now, but they literally, it was as if they didn't want to know after they went 1-0 down. And the momentum graph on SofaScore shows that clearly. Before the goal, it's actually more in Cardiff's favour because, like I said, as much as we did have more of the ball, we didn't actually create any chances until the goal, which is what I said. Cardiff had the 2, and they got the 2 areas where it was clearly in their favour, the momentum. But after we went 1-0 up, the rest of the half, other than that last period we said, literally the last moment of the first half, was all us. And it looked like they just were not interested, and I was shocked. So I thought, going into half-time, you know, Mick's got to say something now. It's not like any other match where they're probably not playing for the manager. Like, it's a rival match, you know. It's the derby. They're going to turn up surely. I think for the first 10 minutes of the second half, something changed. For me, it looked like they'd gone more of a 2 up top. I don't know if Riles had gone alongside or just behind Kiefer Moore. And Bakun had come kind of into the middle just to help the press a little bit more. And to try and get out at us a little bit more, stop us passing. I think that worked for about 5-10 minutes, but it didn't last for very long. They had a couple of corners. But Yeah, we scored our second goal then on the 60th minute. I think it was a good time to score. Kind of killed the game off a little bit, and I think that was another quality goal. A bit of a 1-2 with Piroe and Paterson, something that we've seen before in the Huddersfield game. Quite similar, actually, where Piroe gives it to Paterson, who makes a run then. Paterson dinks it over the defence, and a good chest down by Piroe. And the finish was a bit dirty, to be honest, where he just dinks it over the keeper who's coming down to make a low block. I thought it was a very good, well taken goal by Joel Piroe there. So, what did you make of the goal in the stadium, Lee?
Oh, your class finish. I mean, I thought Piroe was quite quiet, probably for most of the game, but that's just because Cardiff playing 5 defenders at the back. He was quite sort of snuffed out of the game, but then he gets one chance and takes it like that so easy. It was just so cool. He just was, we haven't had a finisher like that in so long. You just know, even if he's having a quiet game, when he brought that down in his chest, I was like, goal. I know he's going to score. I had every faith that he was going to put that in. And we just haven't had a finisher like that for a couple of years now, where you just think every chance he's going to get, he's going to bury it. Well, probably 9 times out of 10, but yeah, what a finish. So calm, big game, massive goal, no problem.
7th goal of the season, I think.
Yeah. Class.
Doing well. Anything to add there, lads?
Yeah, one thing. Sorry, Jordan, you go.
No, go on, mate. You go first. Go on.
I was going to say the one thing that I wasn't sure about was whether it was offside or not, because I was in the family stand, so all I could see was I just basically saw his run, but I didn't have that sort of side view perspective like the Lino had. So that was my only concern. But obviously the flag stayed down. But when you actually look at it on the side view, he's timed that perfectly. It's such a well timed run and such a good finish as well.
Yeah,
I think it's nice as well. Not only have we seen a Paterson to Piroe link up, we've also seen it the other way around as well. With Fulham away, we've seen that Piroe can also bet a Paterson as well. And for me, we haven't had don't be wrong. There's 2 players I'm about to mention. There's a complete difference in quality, but the season where we stayed up in the Prem, we had Sigurdsson and Llorente. You had 2 main players who knew their job but had a brilliant understanding. No matter how the team were performing, you always had 2 players that could pick a pass from anywhere and score from anywhere. I feel now we've got that with Paterson and Piroe, as long as obviously they're fully fit. So it's nice to see that as well. And I think after this game, especially with the importance of it, I can see that relationship now between Paterson and Piroe only getting stronger. So it was good to see as well. Good to see.
It's crazy to think that Piroe's only 22, and wasn't John Van Sweden giving him some crap when we signed him, saying he was a waste of money and all this? I'm sure all the fans would love to make him eat his words on that one.
I think he's been class.
I just want to add to what you were saying there, Jordan, with the sort of, you can see the relationship between them. I feel at this point now, I mentioned a couple of weeks ago when we were on, before the international break, about sort of chemistry in a way, and that there's quite a few new faces in the first team squad, and we still need that sort of development of the relationship between the players to see the benefits from them. And I think at this point now, hopefully, little things like that, being able to see that relationship between Paterson and Piroe, hopefully we'll see it now through the rest of the team as well, and continue going forward.
Spot on. I think the Huddersfield goal was quite similar as well, wasn't it? That sort of ball in between the 2 centre halves, or 8, whatever Cardiff were playing, just to get in. Yeah, it was quite similar. So I think, and I got to be honest, I thought, first couple of weeks of the season, I thought, when Encham come in, I thought, Encham's got to go in there behind Piroe instead of Paterson. Maybe Paterson comes out, but you cannot drop him at all now. I think he's sort of, he's that's his spot to lose now, isn't it? He's been probably arguably our best player of the season, maybe him or Piroe so far. So I think, and the 2 of them working together, like we said.
Well, his goal contribution is quite high with his goals and assists. Yeah. So I think it's something like 5 goals and 3 assists for Paterson. So something like that. I could be wrong. Could be wrong on that.
No, good one.
Not long after this, though, we had another penalty call, which for me, wasn't a penalty, to be fair. On first glance, I thought maybe it was. It was Ryan Manning running in the box. It was a nice few passes, a bit of intricate play. He ends up running through on goal with the ball in the box. And just about the defender who makes the last-ditch tackle does get a touch on the ball first, to be fair.
Smith.
You are, sorry?
It was
sorry,
Smith,
was it
wasn't
Smith? Smith.
Yeah. I remember because it was just a dirty nutmeg from Corey Smith.
Yeah, it was Smith. I'm wrong. Sorry. The reason I was saying Ryan Manning is because the next point I was going to make was Ryan Manning actually got booked in this incident.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
It was Smith that ran through. And I wanted to talk about him as well in a second. So it was Smith that ran through. He sort of megged one of the centre-backs, and I guess maybe anyone but him there because he's not the quickest. But if he was Piroe, if he was Paterson, he probably gets on the end of it and gets a shot away. But he can't quite get there, and he gets brought down, but the ball is taken first, so it's not a penalty.
Just about.
But it was very close to see. It was a tough call to make, and you can see why the players were shouting for it. Anyway, Ryan Manning was like laughing at the referee, basically. So the ref literally just got his yellow straight out and booked him. And I just thought, like, again, it's for dissent, and it's like someone talking back in his face. And fair enough, that's the rules. But the amount that he let slide, I was just like, you're a joke. You're literally a joke. But that's just my opinion.
Yeah, again, if it was someone just a little bit quicker, then you at least get a shot away, don't you? But when Smith nutmegs Flint, he already kind of looks off balance as he's going to run for the ball.
Yeah.
Like I think you mentioned it, didn't you? Playing in his like attacking right midfield striker role that he often plays. Like I don't know what Corey Smith's actual position is. I know he's like meant to be just standing box box centre mid. Yeah, but he seems to be a lot more forward than most.
Yeah, so you've done a nice segue for me there, because I was going to say here, when I first saw the team sheet, I was gutted. I was like, not in this game. So you haven't done it in this game. Put Corey Smith there, but he was probably his best game in that position. Maybe that's like, you look at the opposition and they didn't take away the derby. They were quite bad. So maybe that's why. But it was some good attacking inputs that he had. There was one ball where it was on the right and Led's running through, and he plays like a reverse pass, that's one of the centre backs that just doesn't expect it, with Led running in behind and guess Led in behind. That was good. Shows that he can do it. I just think, and what I've always said is, it's not his instinct to always be looking at stuff like this. But I guess training and working, and it's showing improvement. So that's a good thing, because we don't have the depth there at the moment. And Cham, obviously coming back from injury, wasn't fit to start here, and he did come off the bench. But I guess, if he's going to be the one that's playing there, if Cham or Patterson's injured, then we need him to be comfortable. So it's good that we're seeing positive progress.
No. I do have to mention the ball in from Grimes on the left into the middle of the box, and he misses the header.
Come on. We've seen him do
that was a hell of a chance. And
he glanced it, didn't he?
Oh, yeah.
I think it was at that moment as well, because it was 2-0 at that point, wasn't it? And I thought, if Cardiff get a goal by here now, and it makes it interesting, we'd be looking at that moment thinking, right, pull that away, game over. Yeah. But again, it's the same thing as the penalty shouting there. If it was anyone other than Smith, so I don't want to sound like I'm slagging him off. I don't mind Smith. Do you know what I mean? I think he's decent at what he actually does. But again, if Piroe's in it, let's say for example, you'd probably fancy him to bury that.
Oh yeah, it's funny. Yeah. I think that nutmeg just shocked everybody, including himself.
Yeah.
What do I do now?
Yeah. I agree with you, George.
Off balance already.
Completely agree with you. I don't want to sound like I'm slagging him off either as a player, because I'm not. I just think he's being played somewhere that's not where his strengths are, and it's apparent. And when the team's weakness has been scoring goals, it just shows more when you've got a player like that in that position, because you need them to be turning up, because you can't just rely on Piroe and Patterson all the time and the Led maybe. So that's why it's evident that he's being played out of position. But it's a bit harsh to criticise him, because he's just doing a job the manager's asked. Same as Latabodia on the right. When they're played in their normal positions, you can judge them a bit more. But they're doing a decent shift. It's just not natural to him to necessarily think in that way, but he's showing signs that he's improving.
Yeah, in all fairness, I think, like Alid was saying earlier, like now the team is starting, they're starting to forge like relationships on like combinations on the pitch.
Yeah.
So I don't know. He obviously seen something where he wants Corey Smith in that pocket because he's playing him instead of some other attack-minded players. Maybe, I don't know. I'm just guessing. I'm not an expert. No, yeah. Let's not go there. I'm I'm no expert on tactics and that, but maybe because Led gets forward so much, maybe Smith covers in there when he bombs forward. I don't know, just goes over on that right hand side. Maybe frees Paterson up a little bit because Paterson run the show from that pocket behind the midfield behind the striker on Sunday. Or maybe Smith frees him up. I don't know, but whatever happened on Sunday it worked. Before I wasn't happy with him starting, but it seemed to work on the
maybe it
weekend.
works a bit better when it's him and Led and not him and Latbodia.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Because at least he can go back and cover if Led is going forward, and that would work quite well. Whereas if it's him and Latbodia, it's like, hang on, you cover, no, you cover, no, you go forward, no, you go forward. It's a bit like, yeah.
It was surprised when he took, not that he took him off, but he took him off and brought on Cham on, and I thought, he's going attacking here.
That's
like I think he wants
to
the
Steve
third goal.
Cooper.
But he made an attacking change, like 2-0 up. I was like, my God, we're going for another one here. I think it was 2-0 when he made the change.
I think all three subs were predetermined because I was speaking to John in the pub and I was saying, like, I'm telling you, he's going to be in Cham for Smith. Bennett's going to come off because he's just come back from injuries. Cabango will come on and Cullen will come on near the end, and that's literally what happened. So I think it was, maybe it would have changed, but I think generally, if the game plans go in as it was, as it should, as intended, I think that was the changes that were always going to happen from there. Like Whittaker was on the bench, but could you see him coming on?
I don't know. It seems to be a more Cullen at the moment.
Yeah, and Walsh as well. We haven't seen him for a few games.
Who's that? Sorry,
Liam Walsh. We haven't seen him for a few games since Smith's come back from injury. It seems he's not that interested in Walsh, but I thought he had a bit of a good pass about him.
Yeah, I mean, with Walsh, like he got injured quite early on, didn't he? And he didn't really.
Yeah, he's been on the bench for the last 6-7 matches without featuring. So
I feel like maybe. Oh, go on. If you had anything, go on.
Oh no, I was only saying that I said interested.
No, I think
where he gets used. Walsh, sorry.
Yeah, I think maybe because Encham's literally just come back. Maybe he wanted a bit of game time for him, a couple of minutes rather than, Walsh in a way, just because we are sort of needing those forward positions.
Yeah, I think so, and I think it also meant like Cardiff couldn't necessarily they're 2-0 down. They want to come back into it, so if you make a defensive change, you kind of do invite them back in. It's up to us to defend that then, but then it maybe forces them to be like, oh shit, we still got something to think about you. If anything, we've got something even more to think about now. So we can't really, what do we do? Like, we can't push on because he's more attacking than Smith is. Like, and
that's why we needed that third
goal. But yeah, it was a good move.
We needed that third goal desperately because, well, not desperately, but I think you're right. I think if we start making defensive changes then and dropping back, they could easily get one from a set piece. And yeah, no, I think you're right. I think he made the right decision in doing that and then getting the third goal. It was game over then.
Yeah, speaking of third goal, Jake Bidwell pops up with the first goal in like 9 months or something silly. I think it's that long.
There's a very good piece of play there, but just taking one step back to actually, you mentioned where Bidwell had that, I don't even know what player it was, the Cardiff player on the right, where he was all over him, and he plays a ball across to Encham, and he's very unlucky to sort of. He sort of gets it caught in his feet, and the keeper makes a save at the near post.
Yeah, I forgot about that, and Cham should have scored that.
Yeah.
It was a good... I mean, he gets it on target. It was quite, my goodness.
It's so silly. He just hit it too calm, do you know what I mean? Like, it was one of those where it was like, as long as I get contact on it, it's going in. Yeah. Like, he didn't replace it, and I think just kind of passed it, didn't he, to the keeper. But
he did have a player in front of him as well.
Yeah,
it was decent. I think we thought it was going to go in the pub. Some people started celebrating, but the third goal did come through Jake Bidwell. Absolutely fantastic piece of play by Flynn Downs. it kind of kicks it into space, doesn't it? And then someone's chasing and actually gets there in the end. Paterson gets up there in the end. Oh, Led, sorry. Led gets up there. Can't remember quite what happens with Led then, but breaks to Paterson either way. I don't know if he passes it to him or Paterson got after Led got tackled or something. But he's up on a byline, and not quite the byline. I think Led has cut it back actually, but I can't quite tell if Paterson's going for a shot to the far post, but like a dink sort of over the keeper shot, or if he is dinking it over for Bidwell. But Bidwell ends up headed in. Well, he couldn't miss, I think. If he just made contact with it, it was going in. But it was good because it was two Cardiff defenders with him, and he's the one that got his head to it and put it in the goal. Don't know how they would have defended him, mind. It was tricky one to deal with. But what do you reckon? Is Paterson going for a shot there, or is that intended?
I got to be honest. I think he's meant that for Bidwell.
Yeah.
I do think he's meant that for Bidwell. Just by the way he just clips it over the keeper. And I know that sounds like, well, he could have been going for the shot. But I think he sees Bidwell running in the box already. And it's like, well, hang it up in the air. Which, is dangerous to do against Cardiff. But hang it up in the air. And obviously Bidwell gets on the end of it. But going back before that, Flynn Downs, he just gets better every single game. Like, that bit of play. I mean, for such a small guy, it shows his physicality in many ways to do that to Kiefer Moore. To stay with him, get around him. He takes Kiefer Moore down, but he takes him down fairly. And he shrugs off another tackle as well and sets Led off. I was watching that bit of play and I just thought to myself, we snapped this boy off for so cheap. It was great
he
business.
was linked to Premier League clubs last summer. He just didn't go. And then he sulked with Ipswich for a year, basically. That's why we got him for so cheap.
Yeah. But he was linked to Palace, wasn't it?
Yeah,
it was
Palace, I think.
Yeah. But obviously that didn't work out.
Yeah, class. How much we pay for him in the end? Or was he free?
I'm not sure. I think it might be an undisclosed.
As most things are with the Swans this season.
Like what I saw, it was like just over $1 million. It was like 1.2 million.
Yeah, maybe. It sounds about right, I think. But
you take that.
Got to be honest, I was worried about our transfer business at the start of the season. If you look at that game, you've got like Piroe, Paterson, and Downs are probably the three best players on the pitch. The three players we brought in the summer.
Led, if you want to go fourth.
And Led as well, yeah. Just all the players we brought in this summer. I mean, I don't know we can credit for that. If it's Martin or Andy Scott or anyone else that's bringing those players in, but
I mean, Led had already worked with Martin, didn't he, at MK Dons?
Yeah, Led's definitely Martin. Patterson's definitely Martin because he came in like 2 days after and he basically said, I saw he was on a free, asked about it and we got him in. Downs, not sure. He was in League One with him last year, so it's probably some sort of influence. Maybe he's on a list and he's like, yeah, I like him. Piroe obviously was already here before Martin.
Yeah. I think Piroe was definitely more of like a Andy Scott when he purely because Andy Scott at Brentford, he got the likes of Ben Rama and all that, didn't he? So he's not afraid of the European leagues. So it was definitely more of an Andy Scott influence, I think. And he only cost like $1 million, Piroe.
Yeah,
bargain.
Unbelievable.
Class. Yeah, Flynn Downs, I got to be honest, we talk about Jay Fulton, don't we? Saying maybe, he's unlucky not to be in the squad and where is he, but I think you can't leave Flynn Downs out at the moment.
You can't leave him out. I feel it's harsh that Fulton didn't get on the bench and I'm a bit worried that he might be not here much longer.
You just think it's sorry, I was going to say, it's mad that certain players work better with different managers, don't they? You look at that, I still can't say his name, the striker, the Swedish one, on the commentary, Piroe. He looked awful for us, didn't he? And then look at him this season. And like you said, Paterson, free transfers. I think, didn't he have a trial in Middlesbrough or something and didn't want him? And now he's come here and he's ripping it up. So, yeah, let's just see if we find those combinations.
Sorry, it's gone now.
My
it's fine. The other thing I was going to say was the other absentee other than Fulton, which, Walsh on the bench over Fulton. It's not looking good for him unless it's an injury or something, but he said it was a fully fit squad, didn't he? Is Obafemi as well. He didn't make the team this time. So again, coming back from an injury, maybe they just didn't want to, maybe just wasn't ready. But yeah.
Another one was Rhys Williams as well. Where's he gone?
I just don't know if he started well with us.
I literally said with you guys on this podcast, I said that Reece Williams was my favourite signing of the summer. I said that like maybe 3 episodes ago.
Yeah,
like obviously
we did like a transfer special, didn't we?
Yeah, and I was buzzing about Reece Williams, but I'm like obviously I'm not saying he's a terrible player. I mean, he showed that at Liverpool last season. He's not a bad player, but maybe he's just not suited to us. But then the same thing happened with Guehi.
Yeah.
He had a bad start.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah,
the issue we've got with centre back is we're playing like 3 centre backs. We've got a lot of centre backs. You've got Cooper, you've got Cabango, you've got Latibodia, who all didn't play as well. There's another 3 centre backs. Then Reece Williams, but we're also playing like Manning and Norton, who are not centre backs in the centre back. So there's a lot of competition for 3 places there. And a lot of people are going to miss out.
I think that's what I was going to mention. Back to Fulton, he's got Forest written all over him.
Oh yeah.
With Cooper. Steve Cooper, he's got Forest written all over him. I'd hate to see him go to a championship rival, I got to be honest, like, because Fulton's the type of player, like, he'll come back down here. I mean, obviously the Swansea curse, he probably will
score top bins.
Yeah, but he's the kind of person like
Fulton top bins.
He's just the kind of person that any championship side would be lucky to have him.
Yeah,
you know, it's just unfortunate the way it's gone for him this season, but we can't really do too much.
That red card in the playoff final might have cost him his Swans career by, like, I mean, not directly, but you know what I mean. The fact that he didn't start the first 3 games of the season or wasn't available, other people have just gone ahead of him.
I think maybe if he'd done it to Thomas Frank, it would have saved his Swans career. But, you know, the fact that he done it on the pitch to a Brentford player instead is a little bit different.
Yeah.
But there we go. Forest written all over that with Cooper, I think.
Yeah, definitely.
Anyway, 3-0, and I thought the Swans were kind of started taking a piss a little bit, and it was done.
It could have been 4 or 5, I think, easy if they wanted it to be.
They just started passing around, and some of them were doing little tricks on the ball and little flicks here and there, I think, and they were just taking a piss a little bit.
I did say, didn't I think that we were just going to hammer somebody at some point. We were going to score early and it was going to click and we were going to put our chances away. I didn't think it was going to come on Sunday, though. Not at all. I didn't think it was going to be a game like that. I said 0-0, didn't I? So I was just thinking of a tight game.
I was the closest, just saying.
Was it 2-0, you said, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, fair play.
Yeah.
You were optimistic.
I was, but I should have been more optimistic. I even went on Sky and said 2-0.
Yeah, we are.
So.
I was concerned at the beginning when everyone was sort of concerned. But that first 15 minutes with high press, I was just like, oh god, I
didn't think they did high press. They did it like every 2 minutes. One person would push up high and then they'd stop again. It wasn't consistent.
No, it wasn't, and I realised that pretty quick. But the initial couple of minutes with that high press, I was just like, oh god, because a lot of teams have been high pressing. We haven't then played very.
Yeah.
I mean, we haven't taken the chances against those teams.
Yeah. I mean, it was still a detriment in the end. They were quite lazy, I think, in their press. I think Moore was quite on his own a lot of the times. You could tell he did get annoyed. But anyway, that's what's your favourite moment of the game then, lads? If we go through, start with you, Jord.
Do you know what, right? I mentioned pretty soon after the game had finished. You know, here in Swans will tear you apart again.
Ah, yeah.
Right, now, I know it sounds stupid because it's not really... I mean, if I had to pick a favourite moment of the game, it would probably be Paterson's from away celebration. But in terms of, in general, it would have to be... Yeah, you know, the promotion season, the early Premier League days, it was nothing but, Swans will tear you apart again, you know, and it did add that element of, we might be on to something here. I'm not saying straight away, but Martin definitely seems to be bringing those days back where we are going to see us tear teams apart, and it's nice to see all the fans singing it again. So the atmosphere was the one for me, and hearing that song again, quality, absolute quality. So that would be my moment for me.
That's good, Alid.
Yeah, I gotta agree. Atmosphere, 100%. Just wish it was like that every week, because holy crap! If that was the level of energy from the fans every week, I don't think, we wouldn't have a bad game. I think every game we'd just go flying and destroy teams. But yeah, the atmosphere, just you can't replicate it in a derby game compared to a normal sort of just league game, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's what makes them special, isn't it? Lee?
Oh yeah, I loved every minute of it. Just good to have the derby back, isn't it? It seems like it takes ages for them to come around, and then it's just what a day. I mean, when you look back, probably 5-6 years, and you think of that game, you'll probably think of Paterson's celebration or Martin's one, the whatever that was.
Yeah, you just sent me a picture of that, so I'll check that up on Twitter later.
Yeah, but just the whole thing. I think Jordan's right though. I think it could be the breakout moment for Russell Martin, like to see it all come together in one game, in a big game as well. Yeah, they could be. Well, we'll see now. We may lose the next 3.
Yeah.
But no, I think you're right. I think that was the first time this season where it all clicked. We'd had spells in games. We've had some good games. We can see what he's trying to do, but that was just a full performance. But my standout moment was Bennett charging forward and having a strike.
Oh my God! If he had scored,
that
they weren't
had
even
gone
too far away.
If that had gone in,
He had 2 goals, didn't he? He had one when he ran. He was like, "Do you know what? Nah, I'm not going to do it." And then it was literally like a minute later, and it happened again.
Yeah,
and he was like, "Oh, fuck it, I'm going."
If that had gone in the top corner, right, and just broke the net from there, I'd just have to have left the stadium.
No. You said you'd be on the pitch. That's what you said.
Yeah,
I don't know what I would have done. I just would have absolutely lost control of everything if that had gone in.
Well, mine was just like, I think it's the first football match in a group that we're all supporting one team that I've watched in a pub since COVID. So it was just nice to have that and celebrating a goal, and everyone in the pub was going mad, and just being in that atmosphere again. It's been a long time, so that was good. And I did enjoy afterwards when all the people from the stadium made their way to town, and a couple of the songs they started singing were pretty nice. Can't really repeat some of them. Mick McCarthy was a Swansea Boys on a bender, and then you can fill in the gaps.
Yeah, that's pretty easy.
So yeah, that was quite enjoyable, I thought. Anyway, last word on the game then. Everyone pick on man of the match. We'll go in reverse this time. Start with Lee.
I gotta go with Flynn Downs. I tweeted it. I know Paterson will get. Paterson was class and deservedly so, but Flynn Downs for me. I thought he changed the game. When he started getting stuck into Kiefer Moore, I think it changed the game.
Yeah, it's a fair comment. I think that tweet you put out about him, it's got a lot of people agreeing with you.
Yeah.
Alex, who's your man of the match?
It's a difficult choice. I think it's definitely Downs was definitely up there, but I think it's just got to be Paterson. That strike in the beginning, early on to put us 1-0 up, the swim away celebration. That's definitely a +1 on the score rating, I think. And then just the way he controlled the ball, the way he, puts balls in, moves the ball around. Yeah, I think it's Paterson for me.
Jord?
I wanted to pick someone different, but yeah, it's hard really not to argue with either Downs or Paterson. But for me, I'd go Paterson all day. He got 2 assists, 1 goal in his first South Wales derby. It's hard to look past that, but if I had to pick a third of the 2 that I've already mentioned, I'd probably have Led in there as well. I thought he was brilliant.
Yeah.
He was unlucky not to get a goal himself. He had a shot to the low right-hand post, which was saved well by the keeper, but he had a good match. To be honest, you all picked someone different, so I guess I'll decide. For me, it's got to be Paterson, I think, because to get a goal and 2 assists in a derby where you win it 3-0, I mean, there was a lot of good performances, but I think that's got to be the icing on the cake, and a goal and 2 assists in any match is good, let alone against your main rivals. But I do want to shout out, not that he had much to do, but Ben Hamer could have easily gone 1-0 down, as we said, and he had a couple of good takes from a corner. There was one dodgy moment in the second half when he came for a corner and completely missed it. But other than that, everything else was spot on. And Kyle Norton in defence as well, because I thought in the middle, I was concerned. I was like, I saw the lineup and I just assumed Bennett would have been in the middle against Moore, just for that aerial threat. But Norton was there. Martin stuck to his guns. He wants Norton in the middle because of his ball playing capabilities, and he dealt with everything well. That was thrown at him. Good covering, and he brought the ball out well, and he got the ball moving from the centre-back position. I thought he did really well, looked experienced, and it was a good display. So I think that was a bit under the radar because Cardiff didn't necessarily offer much going forward other than set pieces, but he got us ticking from the back, which is what Russell Martin wants him to do. Okay, so word on Wednesday, I haven't really got much going forward really for news this week. Only thing that we got is kind of linked to the Cardiff game, and it's a bit of a negative to talk about really, but I think it's definitely worth giving a bit of a airtime to. So there was a bit of a boost for Jamie Paterson on social media. Now, it is from a Cardiff fan, so you can immediately say like, oh, just bitterness and all the rest of it. No, they've lost the derby, but some things are bigger than derby matches and who wins and stuff like that. And when it comes to like sort of stuff that's said in this context, like it's just no place for it. It doesn't matter what match, who says it, like it's just not needed. We'd be calling them out if it was a Swansea fan saying this to a Cardiff player. But it was a bad message sent to Patterson on Instagram, basically wishing them to find him to find a bad illness. Essentially, don't really want to repeat the wording, but yeah, just a reminder. Think a little bit before some of the things you post on social media or message on social media, because I'm sure the person that's done it after he's calmed down and sobered up a bit probably regrets it. But yeah, stuff like that's not nice, and there should be more actions in place, I think, to have some consequences for stuff like this. But we've touched on that before with racism, so it's the same issue, just not racism this time, just abuse in general.
Yeah.
Actually, I'm just scrolling through his post on Twitter now with the photo of it, and
he's posted it. Did he? I just saw a news article about it.
Yeah, and a Bristol City fan actually said, "Ignore this, Pato. Still a lot of love from Bristol City as well." So
yeah, well, it's good he's got all the support, and I think people in general, no matter who you support, will obviously know what's right and wrong in this situation. So that's why I'm saying it's important to detach like rivalries, your club allegiances. It doesn't matter. At the end of the day, it's one person saying something that shouldn't be said to another person. That's the bottom line. That's what it comes down to. So it just needs to stop.
It's not. Obviously it is a South Wales derby and the rest of it, but at the end of the day, Jimmy Paterson is just a normal lad doing his job.
Yeah, that's
what he's paid to do. Like you wouldn't say that to a milkman when he drops your milk off. Do you know what I mean? Like you just wouldn't. Do you know what I mean? I understand your emotions aren't as high when the milkman drops your milk off, if he does. I don't know, but it's one of them. Like, and you see a lot of people arguing, saying like, "Oh, if it was the other way around, you'd find it funny." And it's like, well, no, you wouldn't. I mean,
you call him out, wouldn't you? You call him out, no matter what team.
Of course you would. It doesn't matter, like whether it's a rivalry or whatever. You don't look at it like that. Like fairly recently, Sol Bamba, obviously Cardiff.
Yeah,
but you've got David Brooks in the Wales team as well. Like literally,
David Brooks
in the last week, diagnosed something bad.
But there's been nothing but
someone today as well, wasn't there?
I mean, there's been nothing but support. I just don't understand why you feel the need to actually go out of your way and message someone that. I really don't understand, and I totally agree with you when you say like that there needs to be better things in place to tackle this, and there has to be consequences for it.
If he says this in a pub in front of the wrong people, he gets punched in the face. So
of course he does.
What's the repercussion of saying it on a screen? That's the question, isn't it? Anyway, let's move on. Look, I don't want to be going too much longer. We've been a while anyway, but just quickly touch on there's 2 matches coming up ahead this week. So the build up then, I don't want to necessarily go into detail about them. I think this one is definitely people are here for the Cardiff talk in this episode, and I'm completely aware of that. But we are playing West Brom at home tomorrow night, which is Wednesday the 20th, and Birmingham away on the weekend. Is it Saturday?
Yeah.
Saturday,
3 o'clock.
The 23rd, 3 o'clock kickoff away. I kind of just want to, rather than talk about the games individually, obviously West Brom's a tough game. You know, they've come down from the Prem last year. They're doing decent, and well, I say decent, the second. So it's kind of like the challenge of a derby into the challenge of one of the league's top teams now, and a good test for me about where we really are. So,
yeah,
how important is it we take from what we had in the Cardiff game to build now? And because I just want to ask, like, is it just a win that shows that we're moving forward, or can we maybe have a 1-0 loss or draw? Like, what does that look like to show that the positives we saw in the Cardiff game are actually getting taken on board and going into the Birmingham game? Like, what are you expecting, or what do you think we need to be doing now? Lee, I'll start with you on this one.
I think just competing. I'm not expecting us to blow West Brom out of the water with the players they've got. I'd probably still back us to struggle to get anything from that game, especially after the derby. I kind of feel like it myself that this game's just come too soon after the derby. I think I still want to enjoy that a bit more. I know that the players are obviously professionally ready for that, aren't they? They say, we look at the next game, but it's got to be hard. It's got to be hard to turn around and play another game against a top side 3 days later, because I feel like it myself. I think I wish we had another couple of days to enjoy that game on Sunday. But yeah, like you said, a massive test to see where we are. If we can compete with them, give them a game, I'll be happy with that. I think there'll be a couple of changes, maybe just after the game on Sunday, just because of the high of that, maybe 1 or 2 changes. So yeah, if we can just put another good performance in, I'll be happy with that.
Hopefully no hangover.
Yeah, well, last year when we won the away game, didn't we? And then we had Derby midweek, and it was one of the worst performances of the season.
Yeah.
George, what do you reckon then?
I think Leah said it absolutely spot on. I think as long as I can't really say use the same intensity that we showed against Cardiff, because again, I do think this game has come a little bit too quick for us, and especially with the opposition. I mean, they're second in the table. I fancy them to go back up. I don't think the side can be too disheartened, like if it's like a 1-0 loss or something like that. At the end of the day, West Brom are a very good side. But I think if we just stick to our game, I mean, Martin has said a number of times, like, look, we're not going to change our style. We're just going to stick exactly where we are. And I think obviously that's the right way to play. So I'm going to be honest, I'd be very happy with a point. Yeah. I don't necessarily think if we don't get a win, it doesn't mean we're not moving forward with the Cardiff game. I just think as long as we put in like a really good performance and we're creating chances, then it's still moving forward at the end of the day. Yeah. And you could argue, couldn't you? Like if it's Birmingham tomorrow and it's West Brom on the weekend, we could be having a different type of conversation.
Yeah.
But the fact you've always got to look at your opposition, and obviously West Brom are streets ahead of Cardiff, and it's going to be a completely different game. But again, as long as we can just give a good performance, really. Give a good performance. I don't think we can be too disheartened then, whatever the outcome.
Yeah, I think just continue showing that we can create chances is big for me as well.
Of course, yeah. Of course.
Alex, anything from you?
I'm totally the same. I won't blabber on that front. But yeah, I'd be happy with a point. I think as long as we play our game, I think we still have a chance nonetheless, even though it is West Brom and they are second right now. I think going back to what I said earlier, we're getting to that stage where we should be able to contend to these games anyway. And it's the championship at the end of the day, so anything can happen in any game, no matter where you are in the league.
Well, West Brom have only lost 1 game this season, so it's going to be a tough match. And I wouldn't be, like you said, too disappointed with a draw. If we lose, that's fine. That's fine. It's just being competitive, like the others said there. But Birmingham, quite similar form to what Cardiff had, 4 losses in the last 5 and 1 draw, 1 point. So, if we can get out of the West Brom game with, we don't want to get out of confidence knocked, be competitive, put a good show in there. I feel like go to Birmingham and make a statement again, show, take some points away there. And then I think we've definitely got the ball rolling a little bit. Start picking up then going forward. I'll be happy with that if that's what the next 2 games bring.
Definitely, 100%.
Okay.
Yeah. West Brom played on Friday night as well, didn't they?
Was it?
They had a lovely little gap there for them. Yeah, they played Friday night, I think, against Birmingham.
Fresh,
nice gap.
Yeah, I can't believe Bournemouth are winning the league by 6 points at the moment.
They're flying, aren't they?
And they haven't lost a game.
Yeah.
Jamal Lowe effect, see?
He scored the other day, didn't he?
Yeah. Was this Sheffield United he scored against? Because they done that, they got a shootout and they
Stoke
thought...
was it?
Oh,
was
Stoke.
Midweek, Bristol. They beat Bristol 2-0.
Bristol, that's it, yeah. Bristol.
Yeah. Yeah, they're doing well. Okay, anyway, any last words before we finish then?
Happy Swans.
Yeah.
Cheers,
Any more singing, Jode?
So?
Any more singing?
No, I got shy now. I'm tired. I'm ready for bed, I think.
Still recovering.
Oh,
Well, what about roll on April for a chance for the double again?
Well, that's right at the end then.
Yeah, it's right at the end of the season. The second one is.
Let's hope it's the relegation game for them, eh?
No, let's not hope it's
Can
the
you imagine that was a game where we relegated them and got the double? Oh no! I'm spoiling. I'm spoiling it.
You've spoiled it. You've ruined it. They're gonna win and they're gonna save themselves now just because you said that.
No, just tough.
If that happens, I've said it on recording now. I'll just move to the other side of the world or whatever. Change name, change a lot, new identity.
Well, anyway, cheers for having you on, Joe. Hopefully, it won't be the last time.
No problem at all. No problem.
And cheers for coming back again, Lee and Alid.
No worries.
Cheers.
I mean, I say cheers for coming back. You like every week anyway, so you know what I mean.
Can't get rid of me.
Well, we're in it together. But on that note, don't forget to subscribe if you are still here. Only 4 away from hitting 400, which is our next target on our
2 actually.
2 now, are we?
Yeah.
We've got a couple since I last checked during the recording. 2 away from it in 400, which is our next target in our road to 1,000 subscribers, which is our ultimate goal at the moment. Don't forget to like as well. We are on Spotify, so if you want to listen rather than just watch, you can check us out there. If you want to listen on your way to work in the morning. But yeah, and all the rest of our social media should be linked in the description as well. So Twitter is our most active, and you can find everything we do on there. All of our links, like to our merch, to Fan Hub and stuff like that. So check us out, and we shall see you in the next video. So have a good one.
See you guys.
See you soon.
And up a Swans.
Up a Jack.
Thank you for watching. Don't forget, if you enjoyed the video, to click the like button to help us grow. To keep up to date with all of our new uploads, hit the subscribe button and push the bell to ensure you are notified of all of our new videos. As always, engage in the comments and let us know your opinions on what we discussed today. And if you want to support us directly, check out our new merch where you can find some awesome Swansea related t-shirts.